I have to be honest, and maybe this honesty will make some people uncomfortable, maybe even angry, but pretending otherwise would be a lie. Artificial intelligence is not coming for the future. It is already here. It is already writing, designing, diagnosing, composing, analyzing, predicting, and deciding. And yes, it is replacing people. Not all people, not everywhere, not overnight. But quietly, steadily, without emotion or apology, AI is taking over tasks that once defined entire careers. The scary part is not that it is happening. The scary part is how normal it already feels. Think about it. Customer service chats are no longer human. News summaries are generated in seconds. Marketing copy appears instantly. Code writes code. Art creates art. Music produces music. AI does not get tired. It does not complain. It does not demand a raise. It does not call in sick. It does not have bad days. And in a world obsessed with speed and efficiency, that makes AI incredibly attractive to companies who care more about profit margins than payrolls. But here is the truth that most people avoid saying out loud. AI will replace millions of jobs, and many of those jobs belong to people who never imagined they were at risk. For decades, we were told that automation would eliminate manual labor first. Factory workers, drivers, cashiers. But something unexpected happened. AI did not just move into warehouses, it moved into offices. It stepped into law firms, designed studios, hospitals, and classrooms. It learned language, it learned patterns, it learned behavior. Suddenly, the safe jobs were not so safe anymore. Writers discovered AI could draft articles in seconds. Graphic designers watched software generate logos in minutes. Paralegals realized contracts could be reviewed by algorithms faster than any junior associate. Even doctors began using AI systems to analyze scans with stunning accuracy. And while many professionals say AI is just a tool, tools change industries. The calculator was just a tool. It still replaced human calculators. Email was just a tool. It replaced mailrooms. Streaming was just a tool. It replaced video rental stores. The internet was just a tool. It replaced entire media empires. So when someone says AI is just a tool, what they often mean is that they hope it will not replace them. Hope, however, is not a strategy. The real issue is not whether AI can do a task. The real issue is whether AI can do it cheaper, faster, and good enough. Because in business, good enough often wins. If a company can reduce labor costs by 40% using AI and customers barely notice the difference, what do you think will happen? Executives answer to shareholders, not sentiment, and AI does not unionize, it does not negotiate, it scales instantly. One system can serve millions simultaneously. That kind of scalability is irresistible. But this conversation is not only about corporations, it is about identity. For many people, their job is not just income, it is purpose, it is pride, it is structure. When AI replaces tasks, it chips away at identity. A journalist who once felt essential may now feel optional. A developer who once felt innovative may now feel assisted. A teacher who once created lesson plans from scratch may now supervise software that generates them. The psychological impact may be greater than the economic one. We have tied human worth to productivity for generations. If machines become more productive than humans in most measurable ways, what happens to our sense of value? That is the deeper fear behind the headlines. People are not just afraid of losing paychecks. They are afraid of becoming irrelevant, and relevance is power. Yet history tells us something important. Every technological revolution has displaced workers. The Industrial Revolution replaced artisans with factories. The automobile replaced horse trainers and carriage makers. Computers replaced typists and file clerks. In each case, new jobs eventually emerged. Entire industries were born from innovation. The question is not whether new roles will appear. The question is whether they will appear fast enough, and whether the same people who lose jobs will be able to transition into those new roles. That is where uncertainty grows. Learning new skills is not easy, especially for someone in their 40s or 50s who built a career in a stable field. Reskilling requires time, money, and mental energy. Not everyone has equal access to those resources. And while tech leaders promise a future filled with creative, strategic, human-centered jobs, the path to that future is unclear for millions. AI excels at pattern recognition. It analyzes vast datasets and finds connections humans would miss. That makes it powerful in finance, medicine, logistics, and cybersecurity. It can predict market trends. It can flag fraud. It can detect early signs of disease. These are extraordinary capabilities. They save time. They save money. They save lives, but they also reduce the need for large teams performing those analyses manually. When productivity increases dramatically, workforce size often decreases. That is simple math. Still, AI has limitations. It lacks consciousness. It lacks genuine emotion. It does not experience meaning. It simulates understanding through probability, not awareness. That distinction matters. Creativity driven by lived experience, empathy rooted in real pain, leadership inspired by moral conviction, these remain deeply human strengths. The danger is assuming that because AI can mimic these traits, it possesses them. A machine can generate a heartfelt speech. It does not feel heartbreak. A system can draft a compassionate response. It does not experience compassion. Humans connect through shared vulnerability. That connection cannot be automated in its truest form. At least not yet, but markets do not always reward depth, they reward efficiency. If an AI-generated campaign converts customers at the same rate as a human-designed one, the emotional authenticity behind it may not matter to the bottom line. That is the uncomfortable tension. Efficiency versus humanity, speed versus soul, convenience versus connection. And society often chooses convenience. Another reality few discuss is that AI amplifies inequality. Companies that own advanced AI systems gain enormous leverage. Small businesses without access to those tools struggle to compete. Workers with technical literacy adapt faster than those without. Countries investing heavily in AI infrastructure surge ahead economically. The gap widens, wealth concentrates, power centralizes. AI is not inherently good or evil. It reflects the incentives of those who control it. If the incentive is profit above all else, replacement will accelerate. If the incentive includes human well-being, integration may be more balanced. Regulation will play a critical role. Governments must decide how to protect workers while encouraging innovation. Too much restriction stifles growth. Too little oversight risks chaos. Policies around data privacy, algorithmic bias, job transition programs, and education reform will shape how disruptive this shift becomes. The conversation cannot be limited to tech conferences and boardrooms. It must include educators, labor leaders, psychologists, and everyday workers whose lives are directly affected. Education systems must evolve quickly. Memorization is less valuable when information is instantly accessible. Critical thinking, emotional intelligence, adaptability, and interdisciplinary skills become essential. Students must learn how to collaborate with AI rather than compete against it blindly. The future worker may not be replaced by AI. They may be replaced by someone who knows how to use AI better. That distinction is powerful. Instead of asking, will AI take my job? A productive question might be, how can I integrate AI into my job so I become more valuable? Adaptation is survival, yet adaptation requires awareness. Denial delays preparation. Some professionals still dismiss AI as hype. They point to its errors, its hallucinations, its occasional inaccuracies. They are not wrong. AI makes mistakes, but so did early automobiles. So did early computers. Technology improves rapidly. What seems limited today may become dominant tomorrow. Ignoring that trajectory is risky. There is also a moral dimension. If AI can perform dangerous or exhausting tasks, replacing humans in those areas could be positive. Fewer people working in hazardous environments, few repetitive, mind-numbing roles, more time for creativity, relationships, and innovation. That is the optimistic vision. A society where automation handles drudgery and humans pursue higher aspirations, but optimism requires intentional design. Without safeguards, displacement leads to unemployment, frustration, and social instability. Economic transitions are rarely smooth. Communities built around single industries suffer deeply when those industries decline. AI could accelerate such shifts dramatically. So yes, AI will replace some jobs, that is almost certain, but replacement is not the entire story. Transformation is. Roles will change, expectations will shift, hybrid careers will emerge. Prompt engineers, AI ethicists, data curators, automation strategists, human-AI interaction designers, these titles barely existed a decade ago. Now they are growing fields. The workforce of the future may look unfamiliar, but unfamiliar does not automatically mean worse. Fear often exaggerates outcomes. However, blind optimism can be equally dangerous. Balance requires realism. AI is powerful, it is advancing quickly, it will disrupt industries, it will create opportunities. It will challenge identities, it will force societies to rethink education, labor, and value. The honest perspective is neither panic nor denial, it is preparation, and preparation begins with acknowledging reality. AI will replace certain roles, it already has. The question is not whether the wave is coming. The question is whether we learn to surf it, reshape it, or get pulled under by it. Continuing this conversation means confronting an even harder truth. The speed of AI development is unlike anything humanity has experienced before. Previous technological revolutions unfolded over decades, sometimes generations. People had time to adjust. Entire communities slowly transitioned from farms to factories, from factories to offices. But AI evolves in cycles measured in months, not decades. Software updates do not require rebuilding physical infrastructure. A single breakthrough in machine learning can be deployed globally almost instantly. That compression of time changes everything. Workers may not have 20 years to adapt, they may have 2 or less. Companies experiment rapidly. One quarter they test automation in a small department. The next quarter they expand it company-wide. Shareholders reward efficiency gains. Competitors follow suit to survive. The domino effect accelerates. This is how industries transform quietly until suddenly the change feels explosive. Consider media. A few years ago, content creation required teams of writers, editors, designers, and producers. Today, a small group equipped with advanced AI tools can generate volumes of content at unprecedented speed. Independent creators compete with established networks. Barriers to entry collapse. That democratization is empowering, but it also floods markets with supply. When supply skyrockets, individual value often declines. Writers compete not only with other writers but with algorithms producing near-instant drafts. The same pattern appears in software development. AI coding assistants suggest entire functions, debug errors, and optimize performance. Junior developers may find entry-level tasks automated. The ladder that once trained future experts becomes shorter. If beginners cannot gain experience because AI handles foundational work, how do they develop mastery? That structural shift could reshape career pipelines across industries. Even creative fields once thought untouchable face transformation. AI-generated art wins competitions. AI-composed music trends on streaming platforms. Virtual influencers attract millions of followers without existing physically. The boundary between human and machine creativity blurs. Some audiences care deeply about authenticity. Others simply enjoy the output. If the experience feels compelling, the source may matter less to consumers than to creators. This challenges long-held beliefs about originality and ownership. Who owns an AI-generated painting? The programmer, the user, the dataset contributors. Legal systems are scrambling to answer questions that did not exist a decade ago. Meanwhile, AI's integration into daily life becomes seamless. Smart assistants schedule meetings. Recommendation engines shape entertainment choices. Navigation systems direct travel routes. Financial algorithms determine loan approvals. Each micro-interaction reinforces dependence. Over time, reliance becomes normal. When technology feels invisible, questioning it becomes harder. Yet embedded systems influence decisions at massive scale. Bias in training data can produce biased outcomes. An AI hiring tool trained on historical data may unintentionally replicate past discrimination. A predictive policing algorithm may disproportionately target certain communities. These are not science fiction fears, they are documented concerns. Replacement, therefore, is not purely economic, it is systemic. When decision-making shifts from humans to algorithms, accountability becomes complex. If an AI system denies a mortgage unfairly, who is responsible? The developer. The bank, the dataset, ethical frameworks must evolve alongside technical capability. Transparency becomes essential. Explainable AI, systems designed to clarify how decisions are made, gains importance. Trust cannot exist without understanding. Another layer of this conversation involves global competition. Nations recognize AI as strategic infrastructure. Investments in research, data centers, and semiconductor manufacturing surge. AI leadership influences military strategy, economic dominance, and geopolitical power. The race is not merely corporate, it is national. That urgency fuels rapid deployment. Slowing down for careful societal adaptation may feel risky to leaders competing internationally. The tension between speed and safety intensifies. On an individual level, anxiety grows. Workers read headlines predicting mass unemployment. Students wonder what to study. Parents question how to prepare their children for a world where career stability feels uncertain. The psychological weight of unpredictability can be heavy. Humans crave control. Rapid technological change disrupts that sense of control. However, paralysis is not the answer. Understanding AI's strengths and weaknesses provides clarity. AI excels in structured environments with clear objectives and large datasets. It struggles with ambiguous goals, complex physical tasks in unpredictable settings, and nuanced human dynamics. A robot can assemble parts on a factory line with precision. It may struggle navigating a cluttered home environment with the adaptability of a human. A language model can draft a legal brief. It may miss subtle strategic considerations, shaped by years of courtroom experience. Recognizing these boundaries helps identify areas where human expertise remains crucial. Hybrid collaboration may define the next era. Doctors using AI diagnostic tools enhance accuracy while maintaining bedside empathy. Architects leveraging generative design software explore innovative structures while applying human judgment to feasibility and aesthetics. Teachers using adaptive learning platforms personalize instruction while nurturing social development. In these models, AI augments rather than replaces. The challenge is ensuring augmentation remains the dominant approach. Economic incentives often push toward full automation. Policymakers and organizational leaders must intentionally design roles that preserve human involvement where it adds irreplaceable value. Reskilling programs become vital. Lifelong learning shifts from optional to essential. Online education platforms, micro-credentials, and flexible training modules expand, but accessibility matters. Rural communities, low-income workers, and marginalized groups must have equal access to retraining opportunities. Otherwise, displacement exacerbates inequality. Corporate responsibility plays a role. Companies benefiting from automation gains could invest in transition support for affected employees. Some already experiment with internal mobility programs, helping workers shift into new roles within the organization. These efforts require commitment beyond short-term profits. Culture also influences outcomes. Societies that view career changes as growth opportunities may adapt more smoothly than those equating stability with success. Encouraging experimentation, embracing failure as learning, and normalizing mid-career pivots could ease transitions. The narrative around work may need revision. Instead of a single lifelong profession, individuals might navigate multiple evolving roles. Flexibility becomes strength. Still, we must address a radical possibility. What if AI eventually outperforms humans in most cognitive tasks? This scenario, often discussed in advanced research circles, raises profound questions. If machines handle analysis, design, strategy, and even complex decision-making more efficiently than humans, what economic model sustains society? Some propose universal basic income as a solution, distributing wealth generated by automation to ensure basic security. Others advocate reducing work hours, sharing productivity gains through shorter workweeks. These ideas spark intense debate. Funding mechanisms, political feasibility, and cultural acceptance vary widely, yet the conversation is increasingly relevant. Automation-driven productivity could create immense wealth. Distribution determines whether that wealth stabilizes or destabilizes society. Human purpose also enters the equation. If survival no longer depends on labor in the traditional sense, how do individuals find meaning? Art, community service, scientific exploration, caregiving, and entrepreneurship may expand, or disconnection and aimlessness may grow. Outcomes depend on values cultivated alongside technology. Ultimately, AI is a mirror reflecting human priorities. If we prioritize efficiency above empathy, replacement will dominate. If we prioritize collaboration and inclusion, integration may flourish. Technology itself does not decide. Humans do, but humans must act intentionally. Complacency allows default incentives to drive outcomes. Engagement shapes them. Being honest about AI replacing certain roles is not defeatist, it is realistic. Fear can motivate preparation. Denial prevents it. The future remains unwritten. AI is a tool of immense capability. Whether it becomes a force that sidelines humanity or amplifies, it depends on collective choices made now. So where does that leave us, standing at the intersection of innovation and uncertainty? It leaves us with responsibility, not just governments, not just corporations. Every individual navigating this evolving landscape carries agency. The first step is awareness. Understand how AI already interacts with your profession. Identify repetitive tasks within your workflow. Explore tools that enhance productivity rather than ignoring them. Curiosity replaces fear with competence. Competence builds confidence. Confidence fuels adaptability. The second step is skill diversification. Depth remains valuable, but breadth provides resilience. Communication, critical thinking, collaboration, and emotional intelligence transcend specific technologies. These human-centered abilities complement technical proficiency. A data analyst who can explain insights clearly to non-technical stakeholders becomes indispensable. A nurse who integrates AI diagnostic tools while offering compassionate care provides unmatched value. A manager who understands automation capabilities and human motivation simultaneously leads effectively in hybrid environments. The third step involves ethical literacy. As AI systems influence decisions, professionals must question fairness, transparency, and accountability. Blindly trusting outputs without scrutiny is dangerous. Healthy skepticism ensures responsible use. Demanding clarity from vendors about data sources and model limitations fosters trust. Participating in public discourse about regulation shapes societal outcomes. Silence relinquishes influence. We must also redefine success metrics. Productivity alone cannot determine worth. Human flourishing includes relationships, creativity, health, and community engagement. If AI increases efficiency, perhaps success should include how effectively that efficiency improves quality of life. Are we reducing burnout? Are we expanding access to healthcare? Are we enhancing education, or are we merely accelerating consumption? Intentional metrics guide meaningful progress. There is also a generational dimension. Younger individuals entering the workforce may adapt naturally to AI collaboration. Digital fluency is often intuitive. Older professionals possess experience, context, and judgment that algorithms cannot replicate easily. Intergenerational mentorship can bridge gaps. Tech-savvy youth sharing tools, seasoned experts sharing wisdom. Collaboration replaces competition across age groups. Entrepreneurship may flourish in this environment. Lower operational costs enabled by AI reduce startup barriers. A single founder leveraging automation can scale rapidly. Niche markets become viable. Personalized services expand. Creativity blends with computation. This democratization could unleash innovation previously limited by capital constraints, yet resilience remains essential. Rapid change means business models may evolve quickly. Flexibility must accompany ambition. Mental health deserves attention. Constant adaptation can be exhausting. Organizations should foster supportive cultures acknowledging uncertainty. Open communication about technological integration reduces rumor-driven anxiety. Training opportunities signal investment in employees rather than abandonment. Leaders who frame AI as augmentation rather than replacement cultivate trust, but honesty remains crucial. Sugarcoating reality undermines credibility. If certain roles will phase out, transparent timelines allow preparation. Ultimately, the narrative that AI will replace us oversimplifies a complex transformation. AI will replace tasks. It will transform roles. It will eliminate some positions. It will create others. It will challenge education systems. It will reshape economies. It will test ethical frameworks. It will magnify both human brilliance and human flaws. The decisive factor is not the intelligence of machines. It is the wisdom of humanity. Technology amplifies intent. If guided by inclusive values, AI could reduce suffering, accelerate discovery, and expand opportunity. If driven solely by profit and power, it could deepen inequality and erode purpose. The future is neither predetermined doom nor guaranteed utopia. It is a spectrum shaped by choices unfolding daily in boardrooms, classrooms, research labs, and households. Being honest about AI replacing aspects of work is not surrender. It is acknowledgement. Acknowledgement invites preparation. Preparation enables adaptation. Adaptation fuels progress. Fear may spark the conversation, but responsibility must sustain it. We are not passive observers of this revolution. We are participants. AI is powerful, yes, but it remains a human creation. And as creators, we retain influence over its trajectory. The story is still being written. Whether AI replaces us or empowers us depends on what we choose to value, protect, and build starting now.